I've got a whole bunch of new questions for you. You get 3 rolls, and whatever I roll for you, that is where our interview begins.
Okay.
You are filming on the set of Fast 10. All of a sudden, there's a zombie outbreak. You can pick 2 Fast 10 co-stars to team up with to give yourself the best chance of surviving. Who do you pick and why?
I would say, I'm sorry, Vin. I'm sorry, Don. I would say Jason Statham character and Nathalie Emmanuel character as well. Yeah, because they're ready to,
There's a great balance there too between like him being able to physically take care of himself and her being so incredibly smart and tech savvy.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that comes in handy.
Yeah, I feel they both have. Nathalie, she's a girl like me, but they both have like the muscles and the brain.
Oh, without a doubt. I have to follow up now. So you being part of that team, I want your greatest asset to surviving a zombie outbreak, but then I also want your greatest weakness, the thing that will wind up doing all 3 of you in.
I would say she's very focused and ready to roll. But at the same time, if someone said something that she doesn't like, she would waste a lot of time just arguing about it, I think.
I want your absolute favorite part of the acting process, seeing the set for the first time, rehearsing, you name it. But then I also want not necessarily your least favorite, but the part of the process where you see room to grow for yourself or try something new.
I think it's the moment that I'm on set and I'm just living in a moment with my colleagues and the director and everyone, because we're finding things, new things. And my least favorite, I would say, the time that I'm waiting on my trailer. I know that I'm being paid to wait. But sometimes because I don't know how much time do I need to wait, it's like, okay, but can I go to my computer and go through my emails? Can I like read scripts? And because I'm always like ready to go because I don't like people to wait for me. Sometimes it's just like a waste of time that I'm just listening to music or meditating because, I can start something that then I'll have to stop.
Would you rather have to fake sneeze or fake vomit in a scene?
Fake sneeze.
Wow!
I would rather fake sneeze because a sneeze is just a sneeze, and vomit is tricky.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back for a new edition of Ladies' Night with a returning favorite, Daniela Melchior. I can't believe how much you've done since the last time you've been on this show.
Oh my God, me too. It feels unreal.
Now that you've done Suicide Squad and so many other films, I'm curious about your answer to this question. When you first decided you wanted to become an actor, what did you think was step 1 to becoming a professional actor? And now having done it and done it so exceptionally well, would you recommend that first step to somebody else who's trying to get into the business?
So when I started studying drama, I thought that because in Portugal the industry is really different, I thought the way to get into to acting, at least professionally, was to get a modeling agency that would have the acting department, and then I would get an agent in acting. Nowadays, I would say if you like to try that as an experience, do it, but you don't need that. You can go straight to the acting department. And my advice is really like, don't trust just your talent. I've been meeting a lot of people, nice people, and because they don't know how things are, they just tell me like, can you introduce me to someone? And once they see my talent, they will find me and I will go from there. And it's like, it's not about that. You need to like respect the art and, work on your craft. So my advice would be go to the zero, to the start point and do everything, because it's not about getting to places, it's also about the process. So my advice is really like, there's a lot of fun to have during that process.
I'll follow up on that with this question. So, when you were first getting into the business, is there any, I don't know, a person you met, a class you took, you name it, that going into it made you think, like, this is not going to be worth my time? Why am I even doing this? And you gained something really valuable from it that you still use to this day?
I would say my first ever workshop when I was really, really young, even before starting the drama course, I had a casting workshop. It was a workshop about casting. It was an actor giving that workshop in Portugal. Um, a few years later, I was like, why did I do that? But then I realized that I took a lot of good things about it. And one of the things that I know that I realized that some actors and some people don't have is the perspective of what's a casting, what's an audition, and what can I do to book the role. And I read a book called, I think it was Audition. It's a book called Audition that is it's and when I read that book I realized, oh yeah, I knew this from that workshop that I did, that it's like sometimes it's not about us as an actors, it's just about what I bring to the table for this character. Is it what they're looking for or not? And then a lot of like small details and advices like don't go with a lot of necklaces, don't go full of, because people sometimes they want to give it all, oh I'll take my coolest shirt and everything. But then it's like we don't want to see what's your favorite band or what's your favorite movie on the shirt. If you want to know, we'll ask, you know.
So, jumping ahead now to post Suicide Squad, I always love asking people about having a breakout film in Hollywood because it can feel very different from like outsiders watching it happen compared to the person who's actually experiencing the breakout. So, can you give me one misconception about what it means to break out in film? But then also, what is something that you really did feel changing for the better after Suicide Squad came out?
Oh my God, so many things changed in my life in general. But I would say the freedom of saying no and saying yes. I start as an actor, I started having even more that feeling of I'm not, I love what I do, but I won't do it just because. So I started even curating even more the roles that I was gonna say yes to. And for me as an artist, that is like the best feeling. Um, but then a misconception. I think the glamour of it, and also people really think like, oh, now that you're there doing that and with all those people, you should be living your dream. You should be so happy. And actually, I've been working on myself a lot and doing therapy, doing a lot of alternative healing stuff, and I've been through like a spiritual journey, and I've been realizing that that's not the answer at all. And I think there's a quote, I can't remember who said that I think it was Jim Carrey. He said that I wish everyone could have the experience of being rich and famous and something else, or I don't know, so they could see that that's not the answer.
Let's get into one of your recent releases. We'll do Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 first. I was curious about that one. At what point did James pitch that role to you? And actually, was it always that particular role, or did you two ever discuss playing one of the other characters in the film?
No, no, no. He sent me a message. I don't know how much time before shooting, but I would say like months. Oh, sorry, months or something. He sent me a message saying that someone from his team or something would approach my team because he wrote a character for me. So there wasn't a discussion about other roles because it was that one. And he told me just like it's a sequence that you'll be kidnapped by Gamora and Quill, and you'll fight or something. And I was thinking physical fight, but no. But I realized it would be like more verbal. And I was very excited. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to meet them. I'm such a fan.
getting into Uda's backstory. I don't know how much you actually thought this through, but I'm a big nerd for character backstory. So first, did you ever kind of work through the details on your own in terms of, how she wound up becoming an OrgoCorp employee and what drove her to want to work for that company if she even wanted to?
Actually, I didn't think about I thought about that, but I didn't make a huge backstory because I really thought that she was an outsider and she doesn't know what she's doing there. She just shows up and does her work, and I don't even know what she would do when she would go back home, you know. She would be I would say that she would be I don't believe that there are people like that, but if she went home, if James Gunn followed Uda after work, she would just go to her home, sit, then make dinner, have dinner because everyone has dinner, and then sit again, looking to a wall, and then go to bed. I was
Oh
thinking about her like
no.
that. I don't know why. That's why even when Quill is like trying to show his love and everything, and like for Ura to feel emotional, I was really thinking as Ura, like what the hell is he saying? I don't, it was really something. Everyone is writing that Ura fell in love with him, but in my head, as Ura, I was really like, what should I feel about this? What humans would feel about this? Because she wasn't sure at all.
Do you think that she's processing the end the same way, where after all of that, he was still kind of, messing around with her in the end, where she's just like, why would he do that rather than it hurt my feelings that I fell for that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we actually we we had a the continuation of that scene because we didn't cut at that time. So he was like he said to Gamora, I knew she was into me or something. And James didn't cut and I had a reaction like I could remember, but it was like he looked at me and I was like I it was really something like I didn't like him. So yeah, fans are saying that I fell in love with Quill, but at least when I shot it, I didn't.
From one gigantic franchise to the next, Fast 10. I guess I'll stick with the idea of character backstory briefly here. Again, I do not know if you worked all of this out, but did you ever consider what might have put Isabel and Elena on such different paths in life, especially where they reacted to things differently?
I think as in real life, many people have the same parents, this they went to the same schools, they had the same experiences or not, and they end up becoming different people and they have different paths and journeys and everything. So with Elena was that. And even I really think for her backstory, um, for Isabel's backstory, it was also, it could have been Elena went to the like police school and everything. And from that, she would be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know she's the perfect daughter. And then it would go down from there, you know. It could have been a lot of stuff, but my way of thinking and living my character was really that, like, I was living on her shadow, even though she she was all the time with me and she was very selfless and always worried about family and everything. So I didn't hate her, but I was jealous in a way, like very, very deep down.
To build on that a little, I love asking this question to better understand, especially new characters in a franchise like this. When we meet her in Fast 10, what do you think she thinks her greatest strength is? And also, what do you think she thinks her greatest weakness is?
I would say just getting things done and just showing up and doing things. I was really, we don't see how well Isabel knows Dante, but in my head, because he was like the biggest boss over there, I was really thinking that she could have been working for Dante at least on like, I don't know, drug smuggling and all those like small things. I would think that she works at a car shop, you know, besides racing. But in her free time, she would do a lot of like wrong things, even for Dante or just to survive. So her strength would be just showing up and getting things done. Her biggest weakness, she would think the like the guilt part of being Elena's sister and having and not being able to save her, even though it wasn't her fault at all.
I know nothing's been announced for the future. We do not know how, if you'll return as this character, but assuming there is an opportunity to continue her story, is there any particular quality of hers that you didn't get the chance to tap into in Fast 10 that you would be most eager to explore in a future film?
I would say I remember talking with Vin and exchanging messages about Isabel because like he was shooting already. I wasn't shooting it yet, but I really wanted to understand what could I bring to the table to play Isabel. So I was asking him a lot of questions. He showed me a lot of videos of Dom and Elena with music and everything. And from that, I started thinking about things that I could suggest or ask him if it was that way or another. And I remember comparing my character to Luther, the show with Idris Elba. And I was like, because Luther just engages with people and meets people and brings people to his life. And he ends up, sorry for the word, I won't say the bad word, but messing it up, and having people being killed. And for me, I was really like, I wonder if the story was focused on Isabel, if that was her story. Like I could imagine if her parents are already gone, if it was because she did something and Dante just had them killed, if that happened with Isabel, and if now that I was meeting Dom, if I was afraid of like being too deep with him because something would happen to him, not knowing that he's the boss of everything as well, and very strong. So if there's a future for Isabel, I would love to explore in that way. Like I was thinking, the quote that I told him was like, I could imagine Isabel feeling like a burden to everyone around her, and that's why she didn't want to have connections with anyone, and feeling that everything that she touches would rotten.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I was like thinking about in such a dark mode for Isabel. I don't know why.
I will wrap this up with one future question because it does not surprise me one bit that you have a very exciting project coming up, specifically Roadhouse. And I wanted to focus on that because you have an absolutely exceptional ensemble around you. Is there any particular person in that ensemble that you walked into working with and had certain expectations and they just like blew you away, were above and beyond anything you could have imagined as a scene partner?
Huh. I would say, oh, I love to work with Billy Magnuson, but he was amazing, and I could really feel his how can I say, like feisty energy, but in a good way. He's amazing, and he's such a good actor, and he's so funny. I love to work with him, and I was also surprised by Connor. Actually, he was so exciting. It was so fun to see, like. Fully grown man doing something for the first time, and he really looked like a young kid doing something for the first time. It was exciting. Yeah. And he was really jumping out of his comfort zone. It doesn't have anything to do with fighting, and he took it in such a fun and humble way. It was amazing to watch.
You know this. I could talk to you all day long.
Oh, me
And
too.
this is just chapter 2 of many chapters of Collider Ladies Night episodes in the future. We'll push pause here, and when you deliver a whole bunch of other movies, you got to come back and we'll cover the next stage.
Yes.
Congratulations on Guardians 3, on Fast 10, and everything you've accomplished, and we'll talk about more in the future.
Thank you, Perry.